I'm Rick Howard, president of Kingdom Magic Vacations. In my job, I get to travel a lot. I explore the world on land and sea, eating in unique restaurants and discovering interesting locations. I'm always looking for new places to visit, and I want you to travel with me. Welcome to Travel with Rick. Hey guys, welcome to this week's show. Wow. Man, we've been planning this one for a while, bro.
We have been. Very excited about it.
You guys all know John. He's usually on that side of the camera. Hey, John.
Hey, buddy. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Arm still broke. Well, hopefully by the time we're filming this a couple of weeks before you saw it, actually, I know. And that's still, after 300 episodes, man, that still freaks me out, the whole timing thing and saying when we're filming things. So hopefully, if you saw us on Facebook today, this is off by now. But yeah, we'll get into how this happened because that is one of our 300. That was last week, actually, the episode where I broke this in. So, 300 episodes, man.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We do. I sort of say we don't have a great show this week. We do have a great show this week. We just don't have a show. This is the show.
We are the show.
We are the show. We are the show. We're not taking anywhere except right here in this little hotel room that we're traveling in right now. It's actually Universal's Cabana Bay Beach Resort. Pretty cool little place.
Yeah, it's amazing. I dig it.
Yeah.
I love the theming. It's bright. It's not understated. It's really, really cool. It's very retro. It's got a very road trip feel.
Yeah.
It's a great family resort. You don't even have to go to the parks, although you should.
Right.
Because Universal Orlando is an amazing resort. Right. But you can spend all day here hanging out. It's great.
Sure. And big ups and thanks to Universal for taking such great care of us. All of our friends down here, they're just great. This is one of the family suites, the Courtyard family suites. Right out there is the Courtyard pool with the big dive platform. You been off that dive platform yet, man?
Yeah, it's not a dive platform. It's a dive platform slide. You cannot dive off the dive platform.
That's right. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about 300 episodes, man.
It's amazing.
You got your notes out. I got my notes out. Where'd you want to start? You've been John's put a lot more planning into this than I have. I just did the 300 episodes.
We wanted to start out talking a little bit about where Travel with Rick started.
Okay.
And then we're gonna come through where it's been and some really cool things. We're gonna touch on some really neat little Travel with Rick facts that you may or may not know. And along the way, we're going to have some questions from a lot of the friends out on Facebook. You guys have been putting your questions over on. We've been asking for questions for weeks.
I've been asking for questions, but I haven't seen them yet. So.
Oh yeah. So we've been keeping that from Rick. So we've got some great questions.
Well, we travel a lot, right? It's Travel with Rick. So we travel a lot. So some nights we'll be sitting in the bar, hanging out afterwards, and I'll say, "Tell me a couple of the questions," and he's let a couple of them slip. I can't lie to you. He's the ones he's let slip are kind of the ones that I expected. How'd you get started and what's your favorite things and cool things like that. So a few of them I know. A few of them are going to be surprises. I'm really looking forward to hearing you guys' questions, and we really appreciate you guys taking time to drop over there to our Drive document and drop in your questions and stuff. And more than that, man, gosh, we appreciate you guys watching 299 episodes in. Now you're probably watching 300. So I've been here for most of them, and you guys have been here for a lot of them, and that's amazing, and we really appreciate it. Yeah. They're the best, man.
They're amazing, and it's great to be a part because I've only been a part of the family for a couple of years or so.
I know when.
And he's got all the dates and stuff. So you asked how we were going to do this. We're going to talk about questions from the people. We're going to go through memory lane. We're going to show you some clips from classic Travel with Rick episodes, and along the way, we're going to have some of the usual suspects. Friends from Travel with Rick episodes are going to
We got people coming by?
Sort of. They're going to fly in through video, through the magic of video editing.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
It's going to be amazing.
I was going to say, we didn't even cook anything up here for them.
No.
Usually,
No, we've got it all covered.
Maybe it's because we're not down the road. They're not coming by.
No comment.
I don't know.
So you have some facts that you wanted to share?
Well, I did. You've done most of the planning for this. Of course, you're the one that's edited most of the videos, and you've edited this video, of course. And, and we'll go back and we'll talk about Andrew too. I guess I was actually our first video editor, so we've had about 3 over the course of history. I started it out, and then Andrew came on board. And Andrew's actually been, as a lot of you know, he's been around for a long, long time. He's just taken little short stints away to be in the Army and to go to Afghanistan and serve the country, which, amazing. So, we're really thankful for his contributions to the show. And then, you're our our latest iteration, editor or producer, script writer,
Camera toter,
Yeah.
camera pointer,
Absolutely.
herder of cats.
coffee getter, all that good stuff.
Right.
So yeah. But anyway, yeah, we got to talk about craft foods on this one. We're drinking cheap hotel coffee here, but
Sorry.
anyway, so you've done most of the work on it, but I did go back and just want to, I just wanted to look up a few things just for my own reference. So. We can run through some of that stuff. We mentioned when John came on. I actually know the first episode that you were on, John. I know you'll remember it, but I know it was episode 103, which was right around. Well, I know I didn't put the date down, but it was January. Episode 100 was January 28th, so it was when it aired. So you were probably sometime in February or March of 2011. Can you believe that? Remember the first episode you were on?
I believe that I was on an episode where we were riding Expedition Everest in the rain.
Bing, bing, bing. Give that man a prize. That's what it was. We rode Expedition Everest on a rainy day, and I remember in the video that we said that at 3 o'clock there was a 15-minute wait for Expedition Everest because it was raining.
Yep.
And that was our tip. If it rains, go anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, that was your first episode. You actually had another appearance. Your next episode, I don't know them all, but I just happened to note this one down too. Your next episode was episode 110. You and I, we did a first on Travel with Rick at the time. We rode Astro Orbiter. That was the first time we filmed that. But we actually mic'd ourselves up. We wore lapel mics.
Yeah, I remember
Andrew
that.
was in one rocket, you were in another, and I was in another. And we actually talked together throughout the ride using lapel mics.
I remember
and
that.
Andrew turned around and filmed us. That was pretty cool.
I remember that. That was an interesting episode because I remember when I was climbing out that the mic cable got caught. So I remember standing up and then being jerked back down because the mic pulled me back into the ride vehicle.
That's kind of cool. The technology has changed a bit over time. I know when we first started out, a lot of people used to ask us to use mics, and I always resisted it because not because I'm technology challenged or anything. I don't mind technology, but I just never liked miking up. I never liked the wearing the mic, the carrying the mic, the dealing with the mic, and so we've always just tried to speak up. I think the first episode we ever used, the squirrel thing, and Gary Vaynerchuk actually mentions it was right around the time that we had Gary Vaynerchuk on the show, who now has gone on to be this real famous dude.
Yeah, he's done okay since he's talked to you. He gave him some good advice.
Well, and speaking of Gary Vee, we would have gotten around to this anyway. But now with the shotgun mic that we use, the one that Gary Vaynerchuk called the rabbit tail or whatever he called it, we used to call it the squirrel at one point. I think that might have been what Gary called it. But that has tended to. And we're not even using that today.
No, we don't need to in here. It's amazing.
But, that has tended to make our voices carry a little bit better or pick up a little bit better or whatever. But mentioning Gary Vaynerchuk, it might be one of your questions. I'm not sure. But, he actually encouraged me. There were a couple of people that pretty much encouraged us to start this. An old coach that I used to have, Andrea Warner. Hi, Andrea. If you happen to see this, thank you. She really encouraged me to do this. And I ran into Gary Vaynerchuk at a conference we were attending, and he was a speaker, and was very fortunate to be able to hang out with him and a really small group of people. I'm talking about like 5 or 7 people, just a very small group, for about 4 hours after a conference. And he just hung out and talked to everybody. Just really, when he talks about jab, jab, right hook, he really jabbed that night. He sit there and spent time with everybody and talked about everybody's projects and gave all kinds of helpful insight and encouragement, and I pretty much said after that we need to start a show. So that's what we did. So Vaynerchuk was on there.
Hey Rick, live from Disneyland, it's your West Coast friends Chad and Kate.
Congratulations on hitting 300 episodes of Travel with Rick. That's fantastic. We're so excited for you. Thank you for including us in your filming in the past seasons, and we wish you another fantastic 300 episodes and more.
Congratulations.
We started out, man. We started out in the studio.
Right.
We had a little studio at the office for Kingdom Magic. And by the way, as we're giving shout outs, Leslie and Kingdom Magic, they were a big push for us getting started too. So, but anyway, we started out having a studio in the office, and that was what we did. We filmed rides, and then I would introduce them in the office. I would sit there, have a little black screen behind me to kind of give it this effect and whatnot, make it look good, I thought at the time. and I would just talk about rides, and then we'd show a video, and then that was the thing. So we did that up until like 29 was the last one that we had in the studio, and then I was traveling on a trip or something. I just didn't want to drive over there. It was about 20 minutes from the house or something, or 15 minutes, and so filmed it by the pool. So that's how that got started, the opening of the show anyway. But since then, we've filmed openings literally all over the world.
All over the world, yeah. And when you started Travel with Rick, it wasn't called Travel with Rick.
Wasn't. It was originally Kingdom Magic TV. We thought we were going to keep it part of Kingdom Magic. I mean, the Gary Vaynerchuk part of it, well, Kingdom Magic TV, it really started out the same way. It was the same studio. But, you know, our friends at Disney, because of the closeness of the travel agency and whatnot, it was just a little too close. And they kind of encouraged us helpfully to separate the two. And so, you know, Leslie and I sat around and kicked around some names, and I think that was during the time when Andrew was in Afghanistan, actually. So it was pretty much just Leslie and I running it, and you know, or me running it, and then, you know, Leslie always giving input and support and everything. And so we're sitting around over lunch one day kicking around names. We talked about Adventures by Rick or Adventures with Rick or whatever, and then we just fell on Travel with Rick. And I'm sitting there searching domains, and the domain was available, and there you go, Travel with Rick, 300 episodes.
History.
Yeah,
That's incredible. So, so you started off wanting to do a video show, and then you started the video show, changed names, and you've come a long way.
5
since
episodes.
5
yeah.
episodes.
That's all we did at Kingdom Magic TV. 5 episodes, and those were really well received. I mean, we had about 50,000 views over those 5 episodes in 4 weeks. Actually, the first 4 episodes got 50,000 views in like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it was.
So, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the first episode? What was that about?
You know, and I didn't go. What I didn't do was go back and look over at Kingdom Magic TV and see what we did over there. I don't remember. I know that I know the last episode, the 5th episode there, was actually Toy Story Midway Mania at Hollywood Studios. I guess back then it was probably still MGM. But that was the 5th episode. I'd have to go back and see what the first 4. I don't even remember. Don't even really say it this way. Don't even care. But really, the first episode on Travel with Rick was Disneyland, the Finding Nemo submarine voyage. And actually, the second episode, we did a coast to coast thing. We didn't realize it back then. We didn't intend it. But we did Nemo and Friends in Epcot.
Nice.
That was our second episode. So we inadvertently, mistakenly, unknowingly did a coast to coast episode there
Nice.
for the same ride.
That's cool.
Or you know, a similar, you know, obviously not the same ride. One goes underwater, one you're in a Clammobile. I totally get it. But that was our first 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, so why don't we go ahead and take a little look at that first episode?
Hello everybody, and welcome to Travel with Rick. I'm your host Rick Howard, and this is our weekly video blog dedicated to my favorite place in the world, and I guess yours too since you're watching, the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida, and sometimes Disneyland and the Disney Cruise Line. But then again, you never know where we might be. We could be anywhere, not always Disney, but you know, most of the time Disney, because it is one of my favorite places to visit. Recently we had a chance to visit out to Disneyland, California. We live in Florida on the East Coast, but it's always nice to visit the West Coast and see Disneyland, one of my favorite places. I love that park because, hey, it all started out there. That's where Walt began his vision, his dream of having Disney theme parks. And while we were out there, we rode Finding Nemo, the submarine voyage, which is just a really, really cool attraction. Redone, opened in June of 2007 to welcome Nemo and friends from the movie Finding Nemo, obviously. And it's just a great, great attraction. Located kind of in the back of the park in Tomorrowland, just under the monorail station. This ride fills up early. Long lines in the summer particularly, anywhere from an hour, maybe 2-hour wait. So I'd recommend early on, you know, just getting an early start to this ride. There's no fast pass, and there are 8 submarines, and each submarine holds about 40 people. So it's a kind of a slow loader, but definitely worth the wait. But recommend that you get an early start, head for this attraction first and get on it. You definitely won't want to miss it. It's just a wonderful attraction. You're going to love the video. It just shows some of the great scenes going through the attraction, and you'll see Nemo and his friends near the end. Now it does get a little bit dark at the end of the video, so hang in there. You can see the sound. You can hear the soundtrack as we go through it, even though it may be a little dark and you won't get to see everything because, like I say, it is kind of dark, and and through the parts at the end with Nemo and his friends there. But listen and enjoy. It's kind of a long ride, about 15 minutes, so hang in there. We're going to watch some video now of Finding Nemo submarine voyage at Disneyland in California. Come on, let's check it out.
So we've got the first episode. Who was the very first guest?
All right, I did
on
go back
Travel
and
with
look for it.
Rick?
I would have thought it would have been Amanda Tinney. You forget things over the years. I'm getting a little older, folks, and so you tend to remember things differently than they actually happened. Actually, the first guest, it was a combined effort that she and I put together. I was on her show, and she was on my show, our show, doing the same thing. And we went to Vero Beach Resort, of all places.
Wow.
Disney's Vero Beach Resort, right where I live. And it was Chantel Crawford from DVC by Resale.
Get out.
So she was our guest and actually helped. We did an interview on the porch with her and talked a little bit about DVC and DVC by Resale, her company. And we talked a lot about the Disney's Vero Beach Resort. And then I was a guest on her show where we had some of the famous flatbread pizzas from there. We went down to the beach and just showed how awesome, and it really is, that great resort is. It's one of the places that Les and I still, to this day, even though we live there, we go a couple of times a year. We do beach house there every year, and we do a lot of cool stuff there. It's just she and I go and get away. That was our first guest. Our second guest, I'm going to run down through because Amanda didn't even make it. I love you, Amanda, but Amanda was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now 6. There we go. Amanda was actually number 6. Now the way I remembered it, or the way it happened on Travel with Rick timeline, because it does get a little weird, may not have actually been that way. That's when her video actually aired. Right. So she could have been filmed, before one of the other one, because Rhino Ken's actually Amanda's first video was number 40, Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. Ken was number 39, so you know how we do food and wine. Could have happened before then. And Gary Vaynerchuk was actually 38. And Gary's video, where we kind of did an overview thing of food and wine, was actually filmed at the Boardwalk, and he was our first food and wine episode. And we talked about Epcot's Food and Wine Festival, and that was the 14th annual Food and Wine Festival. Back in 2009.
Wow, that's crazy. So you started off the Food and Wine Festival with the Travel with Rick history with food and wine, which we'll touch on a little bit later.
Yep.
Got started off with Gary Vaynerchuk, who got started off doing WineLibrary.tv
Yep.
and growing his family's wine business from
Sure.
a little mom and pop shop in New Jersey,
Yep.
all the way to a multi-million-dollar wine. So that's amazing that Gary Vaynerchuk started that off with.
Yeah, he was actually there doing a wine seminar for Disney, and actually doing a social media seminar for Disney as well. A private thing for Disney cast members that they had him do privately, but then publicly he was doing a thing. It's actually back in the days of the free seminars at Disney, folks.
Wow.
Do y'all remember those? At the Odyssey, he did a wine tasting there in 2009, and I just reached out to him on Twitter because I'd met him the year before, and actually he reminds me on the video, he says, Rick, it was 2 years before. I remembered it on the video as being a year before, and he says, that was really 2 years ago that we met. And so I just reached out to him on Twitter. That's the beauty of social media, and reached out to him on Twitter and said, hey Gary, I know you're coming to Orlando, I see you on the schedule, would love to get together and chat. And he so graciously gave us about 20 minutes and ended up spending over an hour with us.
Wow.
And then spending another hour after we were done filming, chatting and hanging out and talking about life and wine and stuff.
Gary Vaynerchuk's a hero of mine. I love Gary.
He's awesome. He's awesome. He's such a giving guy. He really cares about people, and he cares about putting he really goes back, and he wants to see people be successful. You can tell. It's awesome. He cares about people. It's good. He's a good dude. So, just to round it out, I told you Chantel was 1. Gary, Ken, and Amanda were 3, 4, and 5, or 4, 5, and 6. Who was 2 and 3? Henry Work from Touring Plans. He and I did an interview about D23 Expo, actually at the Grand Californian. And then number 3 was Lou Mangello. Doing the same thing. Yeah, Lou Mangello was actually the 3rd guest on Travel with Rick. And we were talking about the D23 Expo again with him. So there you go.
That's awesome.
That's not all of our guests by any stretch.
No way.
But that's the beginning few. You know, that's where Rhino Ken first showed up, episode 39, and then Amanda showed up at episode 40. Now Lou's been back once. Henry's never been back. Gary, I don't know what you're doing. He's got some little media company out there he's doing. But you know, Ken and Amanda, thankfully, they come back every year and become famous friends of ours. So.
Well, speaking of Amanda, Amanda's become kind of a little Travel with Rick, you know, celebrity of her own just here on the channel, and she's a great person, and I love her. She's a good friend of mine personally, and I know she's great friends with you. And she's been on here for so many different episodes. Why don't you take a quick look at Amanda Tenney's very first episode here on Travel with Rick.
You're going to love this. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Travel with Rick. I'm your host, Rick Howard, and I want to welcome you to our weekly video blog dedicated to the #1 vacation destination in the world, my favorite place, the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. We're here today again at Epcot for the 14th annual Food and Wine Festival, International Food and Wine Festival, and I've got my very special guest today, Amanda Tenney. Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, everyone.
Amanda is on Twitter as Amanda Tenney, and you also do a blog, everydaydisney.com.
DisneyEveryday.com. Yes.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right, so why don't you tell the folks a little bit about what you do?
Well, DisneyEveryday.com was a site that I started just because I'm a fan of Disney, and I wanted to be able to talk about Disney every day, and wanted to bring you some interesting facts and tidbits and videos and things of that nature.
Cool. I like talking about Disney every day. I know you guys like hearing and talking about Disney every day.
And I like watching Rick's videos.
So we're going to link that up below, everydaydisney.com. I know I'm a fan and a subscriber, so I really enjoy your emails and your blog. And so when people sign up, they can go there and sign up, and they get an email about the blog every day.
Just wanted to give you a shout out and say congrats on 300 episodes. That's a lot of work. I want to tell you that I think probably my favorite episode that you've done is the Treehouse Villas episode, because otherwise how would we have ever met? That was the first video of yours that I watched, and then we ended up meeting at the Food and Wine Festival, and now you're one of my best friends, and I love doing food and wine with you. Those episodes are great too, but I just want to say congrats to all your success, and here's 300 more episodes of Travel with Rick. Can't wait to see where you go next.
All right. Wow, that was awesome. Amanda's a great friend. I'm so glad that, we met, Amanda and I. We met because of Travel with Rick. Like a lot of my friends, we met. But Amanda and I met at, I was buying she was getting a beer and I was buying a crab cake at Food and Wine Festival. And she tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, you're that guy." And that's never happened to me. But anyway, yeah, she did. And that's how we met. And, we've been friends now since 2008 or 9. I guess 2009 according to the timeline. So, 6 years. I guess in internet years, that's like almost a lifetime,
that's
right?
A lifetime in the internet.
Yeah, but we've met a lot of great people. Our good friend Tony C. He was on his first episode of Travel with Rick was for 25 Days of Christmas. That's another thing that we can get into and talk about is why we only have 300 episodes when there's really probably closer to 500.
Right.
But, Tony C., he first showed up doing 12 days, actually it was 12 Days of Christmas back then, was when Tony C. made his first appearance. Then we've had John from Intricot on, my good friend John Yaglinski. He was on episode 41 right after Amanda. That's pretty amazing. Of course, you've been on. Did you know you were actually on before Andrew Harris was on?
Get out.
Andrew's first episode was 134. In 2011, we were talking about D23. It was the first year of the second D23 Expo, and it was his first, appearance on Travel with Rick. But he made a lot of great appearances after that. Yep. He did episode, I have down here episode 173. Probably his favorite one that he ever did. He's probably got two. He did, episode 114. He did the Dragon Challenge, which was he actually filmed both coasters, and then it was another technology boon for us on Travel with Rick. He put both coaster rides side by side. Now they have the Chinese Fireball and the Tasmanian, Hungarian Horntail, thank you.
Nice.
They have there are two coasters there. It used to be Fire and Ice. So when Andrew filmed them, he rode Fire and filmed it, and he rode Ice and filmed it, and then he put, because both coasters run simultaneously, they take off the same and they basically race. So he put both coasters side by side, and so you can actually see both coasters running in simulcast on Travel with Rick. It's pretty cool. So that was not his first one, but again, that was one that he did. And then he also, one of our best episodes ever, I believe, was episode 173, the Disney Pool Challenge. Not challenge, but we rated the best pools at Walt Disney World.
Yep.
So we literally went all over property, and Andrew we called it the Andy cam. It was actually my helmet cam that we used for snowmobiling, and he would strap that thing on and go down the slide. So if you have not seen episode 173, I think, 173, I was on August 10th of 2012. You owe yourself a look at episode 173.
Cool. We'll just have that floating in here too. That'd be awesome.
Whoosh, there you go.
Hi everybody, it's Rhino Ken from Rhino Wine Gear. It is my pleasure and privilege to congratulate Rick on 300 episodes of Travel with Rick. 300 episodes. That's not a small accomplishment. That is huge. The amount of time, effort, dedication, love, and passion for what you do is the only way to make that happen. So congratulations to you, the Travel with Rick staff, as well as the Travel with Rick viewers who all make it possible that you keep doing it over and over again. I am so honored to be a part of the Travel with Rick history. I think it was back in, do some math here, carry the one, episode 39, going way back to October of 2009. It was the 14th annual Food and Wine Festival at Epcot that we did our first show together. Of course, we've known each other a little bit before that, but wow, what a fun ride it's been. Great food, great wine, great laughs, great friends, great times. So thank you so much for 300 episodes. 300 more coming. Can't wait. Cheers.
All right, so one more quick thing, and I know you got questions you want to get into. I think you got questions. That's what I've been hearing. One more thing I wanted to mention, we talked about our dumb first episode, and you saw it. It wasn't dumb at the time. I mean, hey, we made it work. It was what we needed to do, and it's how we knew to do it, and we made it work. But we changed the open a couple of times. Our good friend Chris, he made us that great first Travel with Rick logo that we had. Chris, if you're watching, bro, thanks. You helped us out twice with logos. That's amazing. But we had that first one that had kind of like a computer screen with a castle in it, and then it had some Mickey ears on top of it that were stitched and said Rick. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that, but that was always there too. Chris was so proud of the stitching that he put in the ears. And so that was our open for a time. And then at episode 137, right in the middle of Food and Wine Festival, Amanda was in that episode as well. That's when we switched. I remember us recording it, the voiceover for it, recorded it at a hotel Andrew and I were at in Disney. And just one morning before we went out to film Food and Wine, we recorded, hi, my name is Rick Howard. I'm the owner of Kingdom Magic, and in my job, I get to travel a lot. And then we started flying in pictures, and I loved that open. It's still the open that I guess we're still using today.
Yep.
And so that was a big switch.
bit.
That was a big switch for us right there. And I know we changed it out seasonally for Food and Wine and put pictures of friends and stuff in it. But
Christmas.
yeah, Christmas. So that's so that was kind of a big switch. So that made it really, that concept made it from 137 to 300.
Yeah, it's a great concept. It works, and we use it today, and we've changed logos.
Yeah, got a new logo, which I just took off Facebook a couple of weeks ago. Sorry.
That's okay.
Put me back on it. I figured, hey,
That's okay.
let's travel with Rick. We'll put Rick out there,
That's right. That's right.
And thanks, guys, for Facebook, man. I mean, that's one of my joy places that I like going now. I just enjoy posting little videos telling you where we're at and what we're doing, and putting pictures of what we're eating. You guys love food like I do, and you guys are so interactive. Somebody even mentioned that the other day, that we have great engagement. That's a social media term that means we talk to each other, which is cool.
Yeah, that's cool. And one of the things we've done on Facebook is we've been asking you guys to send in questions, and we put a link to a Google document that you guys have been sending in questions, and we promised that we would give out prizes. So if we ask your question here today, check your email box after this episode airs, and then we'll be reaching out to get contact information so we can send you a really great prize.
Hope you guys like Mater plushes.
I was here to say.
Leslie's still got a big box of those.
The return of the Mater plush, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that we can probably figure out something
Yeah,
else.
there's a few other things, but I'm not ruling out that some of you may get a Mater plush.
Well, the first question is going to be from Stephanie in West Virginia.
Oh, hi Stephanie, how you doing?
And she wants to know, how did you and Leslie get into the travel business?
Wow, how did we get into the travel business? So we had a great friend, Art Evans, and he and I, we planned a trip for just some other friends, kind of like we do at Beach House, except it was at Disney. And so we took a few couples and all of our kids, and we took a trip to the Wilderness Lodge in 1995, 94, somewhere right in there. And we're standing in line for Splash Mountain, and it was a huge line. And we're standing there waiting and talking, and we had a bunch of friends with us, and we thought, both of us almost simultaneously looked at each other and said, you know, we could probably do this for a living. Boy, what we didn't know in 1995. And we have ended up, thank God, ended up making a good living out of this, and you know, it's carried us to places all over the world. But you know, we knew nothing about the travel business, and knew probably, well, I should say we knew nothing about the internet and probably less about the travel business. Neither one we knew very much about at all. And we went back and we started researching, and neither one of us gave up our day jobs for a time, and we continued working. Leslie actually did the books early on and helped us out kind of part-time and kept her job even after I went full-time and quit my job and went to work for Kingdom Magic full-time. Leslie didn't actually go full-time for Kingdom Magic until we moved to Vero Beach in 2005. She continued to work her real job and help us out part-time and stuff. And then when we moved to Vero Beach from Fort Lauderdale area, she just didn't seek out employment from anybody else. And she was already overwhelmed, really, you know, working. She basically had two jobs, you know, her real job and Kingdom Magic, which was growing and growing and growing. And, you know, that's how we started. Simple answer is we planned a trip for some friends and decided that we would like to plan it for a few more friends, and that's how we started planning vacations for folks.
Awesome. Well, John, Lisa, and Megan in Gap, Pennsylvania asks,
Hey guys, these guys, they're awesome. I mean, we know a lot of you, but these guys are always big supporters. So we've met them at California Grill before, just great folks, love them.
cool. They've got a really interesting question, and it's one that I'm looking forward to hearing the answer to. We heard that you had a background in agriculture. Is that true? Did you ever work in that field?
Well, I guess, yeah, true. I do have a background in agriculture, I guess. I was part of the school organization Future Farmers of America when I was in high school, and I worked on a farm when I was a kid. I actually worked at a place called Brookhaven Farms, and that was my summer job for a few summers there, just doing farm stuff. You know, it was basically, you know, we built modular frames for chicken houses there in Georgia, and that was a thing that I did. And then, like I said, just worked, you know, general farm stuff around. And I raised steers. I used to raise steers for the steer show in the Future Farmers of America.
I'm sorry, I just can't imagine you with raising steers. I mean, that's amazing.
It is amazing. I think it's one of the reasons Amanda and I gelled, because, you know, her daughter is in 4-H and does kind of like the same thing, Alexis, you know. So, and you know, Travis and them, they're farm folks. All of his friends, Travis is Amanda's husband, and he went to Costa Rica with us on an episode for an adventure by Disney, and you know, they're farm folks, and you know, we've got a lot in common. You know?
That's cool.
I mean, hey, we all eat, man. You know, you gotta have your farmers. If you want to eat, you gotta support your farmers.
That's right.
It's a good thing.
All right, we got one more
Great
question.
question, guys.
Yeah, one more question from John from Sicklerville, New Jersey.
Hey, John, what's up?
What part of Disney World is the one place that you must visit every time you go?
Wow. So yeah, he threw this one at me the other night because we were sitting in one of those places that you sit at sometimes in the evening, and John thought it would have been Bay Lake Tower and Top of the World, and that's probably a good answer. But you know, I said when I gave him the answer that I'll give you guys, which is Epcot. I always go to Epcot. We're going to since we're done with this, we're going to Epcot. And you know, I love going to Epcot. I love hanging out and people watching. But John thought it probably would have been Bay Lake Tower on top of the world, and that is true. It is a place that we frequent, although we probably just don't make it every time, and that's probably why I didn't think about it. Go most times, but we don't go every time. But I do love going to Epcot, you know, and I do love going to Bay Lake Tower.
Wow,
Great resort.
Wow, that's a good question.
It is a great question.
So speaking of Epcot, that brings us to what I think of when you say travel with Rick. As a fan, because I was a fan
Cool.
and a friend way before I was part of the Kingdom Magic family.
Right.
Was Food and Wine Festival.
Food and Wine Festival. The first one was 2009. We looked that up. So we probably didn't hit on this yet. You may have it in some of your questions, but I actually, when we first started talking about it, I thought we started the show in 2008. We didn't. We started the blog in 2008. We started Kingdom Magic TV in 2008. But our first episode didn't launch until January 2009 on Travel with Rick. So I think it was January 20th, somewhere in there, was our first episode. And then our first Food and Wine Festival was in 2009. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 was year 6. Coming up this year, 2015, will be our 7th year of covering Food and Wine Festival at Walt Disney World.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we're going back to the 30 days of Food and Wine.
This year we are 31 days.
31
always say
days.
30 days. And in truth, well, John's probably right, because we always plan on doing 31 days, but then last 2 years we've thrown in a special Halloween episode on the 31st. So, but I think it's worked out on Fridays for some reason, or at least last year.
Yeah.
So I think the 31st was a Friday. So it does. We're going to do 30, or we're going to do all October. That's what I want to do. Last year we went, just because of travel schedules and whatnot, we were just so busy. We did Friday episodes, and I just didn't like it as well.
Right.
You know, for me, you know, I like the dedicating a day to a booth and doing all. But this year we're going to number them too. We're going to do it a little differently. So we're going to continue our numbering, but we're going to number our 30 or 31 episodes, and they're going to have unique numbers, just like the episodes here do.
Nice. Excellent. So we've got Food and Wine, and we talked a little bit about, we went 12 days of Christmas
Yep.
to 25 days of Christmas.
That was me. I always blow things up, you know, just like we started out in the beginning in 2009. We started out just doing weekly episodes, and back then we hadn't, you know, you think about things and you think it's the right way to do things. So we filmed a bunch of Food and Wine episodes, and we didn't really think about the flow, and I thought we did. But we didn't show them all together. You know, we showed like Ken's episode, and then we put in a ride episode. And so we stretched our Food and Wine episodes out to December of 2009.
Wow.
And we shouldn't have done that. You know, looking back on it, you know, we just thought to do all those episodes of Food and Wine was too much. And that was our first year doing it. We didn't know how it was going to resonate with you guys, you know. And so I thought, well, that's too much. We'll kind of, you know, add other episodes in there. And so, you know, but then we went. So the next year, I think we had them all in sequence, but we still did Fridays. And then I think it was the year after that, I said, well, let's do all of October. So we did the big planning thing at Bay Lake Tower or Boardwalk or wherever we were. And we had a bunch of people there. And this year I want to go back to it. I like doing days at booths and it's easier too, because we still end up filming 4 or 5 episodes a day, but you know, we don't carry you guys through it. You know?
Right.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Travel with Rick. Wait a minute, I'm not Rick. Hey Rick, I just want to say thanks for 300 episodes. It's been great doing them with you. I've had an awesome time traveling with you, having great food, going to places that you really can't see. But here's a question for you, Rick. How many miles have you traveled on your 300 episodes? What do you think it is? Disney by the numbers, would love to know. See you out on the road, Rick.
So we've done ride videos. We've done videos at festivals like Food and Wine Festival. We've done Christmas episodes.
Right.
And then something that we started very recently that I love that we do are the road trips.
Road trips are awesome. What was our first road trip?
Our first road trip was to New Orleans.
Oh, that was a blast, wasn't it? Stopped off in Pensacola Beach, saw some friends there. So one of the cool things too, the people that we met in didn't meet, people that we were hanging out with on our road trip in Pensacola Beach, I actually met on another Travel with Rick trip to Wyoming. Donna and her family, you know, they work at Brooks Lake Lodge. Her family, well, actually her daughter does now, and so you know hit them up on social media and said, hey, we're coming to your town. You want to get together? And you know, and we got together. You know, and we've done that in Key West with John Jaworski and David Sloan and Tim Glancy and the guys down there. You know, so we meet people and make friends along the way. Right. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's amazing to talk to people online. And then to hear you tell stories about it, and then there they are. And on the recent episodes that we've filmed at the at the Key West Food and Wine Festival, we were filming other episodes, and then we had some friends come in. So we were filming an episode, watching you and Bigby eat a hot dog, and then right behind me, we have TWR friends sitting there
John
watching.
and Joanne from New Jersey.
Yeah, watching us, and it was surreal. And then I remember the guy Tebow, the manager of the place, was like, "Is this your entourage?" I'm like, "Absolutely, that's how we roll."
Right. Even John Jaworski said the same thing because we all met up at Mrs. Max, not Mrs. Max.
Barbecue place.
That's in Key Largo.
Barbecue place, right?
Yeah, Charlie Max in Key West. We met up at Charlie Max in Key West, and John said, "Wow, you got your whole entourage with you tonight."
Yeah.
That was funny.
So that's cool. We've gone to New Orleans. We've gone to Key West. We've got some other things planned. We don't want to let that out of the bag quite yet.
Sure.
And so that's
We've gone to Tybee Island.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've shown any of those episodes, but we've done road trips to Tybee Island again with friends that we met either through Kingdom Magic or through Travel with Rick. Mark Bigby, we haven't talked about him, but he made his first show episode debut at Food and Wine Festival 2 years ago. Well, this year will be 3 years ago, and then he did the Key West trip with us.
Right.
So Mark Bigby made his debut, and we also met them at Top of the World. Both Mark and Chris, we met them at Top of the World Club because they were friends of Amanda's, and so I don't even want to sing the song that just popped in my head, but you guys all know it.
No way.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Travel with Rick.
Travel with Rick?
This is not Travel with Rick because I'm not Rick.
And I'm not Rick.
We're Mark and Chris from Savannah, Georgia, and we can't believe we've heard that phrase, hey guys, welcome to this week's episode,
300 times.
300 times. Man, we have enjoyed being there with you, shooting a few of these episodes. We've definitely enjoyed being there to hashtag
Eat all the things.
And a few of them were hashtag
Meat and tooth form.
But more importantly, we have loved traveling with you through the weekly show online every week for 300 episodes. Man, we just want to say congratulations on 300 episodes, and we can't wait to see where the next 300 take us. Cheers.
Well, we have another question from some of our friends on the internets. From all the way from Merry Old England.
Merry Old England.
Linda.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
Hello, Jolly Pip Pip. First of all, she says, happy 300th episode.
Awesome.
If you had to spend the next 300 days in just one hotel that you have visited over the years, which one would you choose and why?
Well, it wouldn't, and I've not visited this one, but it wouldn't be that ice one in Stockholm.
That's a little cold.
Or Sweden or whatever. I think I'd get a little cold of that one. You know what? I think it would be Bay Lake Tower. I think that'd be the place, and you know why? Because that way I could visit California Grill or Top of the World Club anytime I wanted to.
Saw that one coming.
Just be a short walk over, and I just like it there. I mean, you wake up and you see, either Bay Lake or you see over to the Magic Kingdom and you hear that boat. That's my favorite memory from Bay Lake Tower, is hearing the boats that are running from Contemporary and Fort Wilderness and Wilderness Lodge running over to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
You hear that boat horn or whistle in the morning. It's really cool.
I love hearing the train.
Yeah, the train too, yeah.
I love the train whistle.
I mean, you get views of everything right there. You got the boats, you got the monorails that'll start running, and you got the train that'll start coming around an hour before they open the park to get it ready,
Right.
It's awesome.
That's good. Pat from New York.
Hello, Pat.
Pat wants to know, what is your all-time favorite extra event at Walt Disney World and why? And what makes it stand out and be worth the trip?
Wow, extra event. So you know which one I'm going with. It's got to be Food and Wine Festival, I mean, is that where Pat's going?
I think so. Like Food and Wine or Flower Garden or Mickey's Not So Scary or Halloween Horror Nights.
I love Food and Wine Festival, probably not for the reason that you would guess first. You would think for Food and Wine. But you know why I love Food and Wine Festival so much? Is for the E2B concert series.
Really?
I look forward to that. I mean, that's one of the first things I try to figure out is not which booths we're going to eat at, but you know, which weekend is Sister Hazel coming,
Right.
You know, or which weekend is, you know, Mickey Thomas from Starship coming, or you know, when are when's Night Ranger going to be there? Or who are the new bands that they're bringing in? That's the second question we always ask. Who's new on the bill this year?
Right.
So I always look forward to the Eat to Beat concert series, and of course Sounds of Summer is awesome too, and Flower Power. We're bringing lots of great bands to Disney. You know, just think about it. You can go to Epcot, you get some great food and wine, and for the price of your admission, you can see bands like Sister Hazel and Night Ranger and Mickey Thomas and Starship. They're just amazing,
Right.
and they bring great shows, right? I mean, they're you know 3 45-minute shows or 30-minute shows, whatever little sets they play. But you know, they play their hits, man. It's awesome.
They do. That's great.
Dennis DeYoung, another great act. You know, that we actually pay to see other places that it's just part of your Epcot admission.
Yeah,
You know, great.
Yeah, that's great. So there's your answer.
Of course, you know, Mickey. Speaking of, you know, Mickey Thomas, of course, Mickey's Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and the Not So Scary Halloween Party are awesome events too. But
Do you have a favorite?
probably be that Christmas party. I mean, snowing on Main Street and those awesome
That's
cookies.
true. That's true.
Cookies and hot chocolate, man.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that.
There you go.
Cannot
And the
go
castle
wrong with
looks awesome.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's one of my favorite Christmas things is to see Cinderella Castle frozen.
that. Cinderella Castle, brought to you by Frozen.
Everything's brought to you by Frozen.
Yeah, no comments.
Hey, honey, I just want to say congratulations on your 300th show and episode of Travel with Rick. It has been an awesome ride with you, and I know that I am your favorite traveling partner, although you have many that go with you, but I am your favorite. And I just wanted to mention to you some of my favorite episodes that I have been a part of and thoroughly have enjoyed. Some of those have been the Epcot food and wine episodes where myself and some of our other friends join in on the beer tasting. You know how I love beer, and I'm so happy that you put me in those episodes with our friends. They're enjoyable, and I get to drink some beers from all around the world. And I just wanted to say thank you for that. In addition to traveling to my favorite winter destination, and that is Brooks Lake Lodge. I love that place, and this year was supposed to be my year to have one of those cameras on it, but unfortunately we broke our arm and I wasn't able to go snowmobiling and enjoy the video camera. But that's okay, we have next year and it's going to be fun as well. In addition to, one of my other favorite episodes is the spoofs that you do. Maybe not spoofs isn't the right word, but bloopers. When you do those bloopers, I love it when you and John put those bloopers out there, because the way I look at it, in my eyes, you are like this perfect individual. And so when you mess up, it is so funny and I so enjoy it. And I'm glad you put those bloopers out there for all of us to enjoy. Well, I want to say thank you for letting me be a part of your life and a part of Travel with Rick, and to know that I love you and I appreciate all that you do for all your friends and family and your Travel with Rick friends. See ya. Bye.
Well, I mean, you've got the usual suspects, you know,
Right.
Big B and Ken and
Right.
Tony and Amanda.
And of course, your lovely wife.
My lovely wife, Sid.
And Sarah McGovern, we didn't mention
Sarah
her.
McGovern.
You know, I mean, her first, and well, I don't know. I'd have to. Hers I didn't check on, but you know, we actually did one of my favorite videos we've done was a dinner we did at Artist Point, and Sarah McGovern was at that dinner, and she and I pretty much, you know, Amanda was there and Travis and Andrew, but you know, Sarah and I pretty much did the commentary of that dinner, and I just love those kinds of episodes. You know, I have a note down here about the episode that Amanda and I did at California Grill. It's actually our first episode of California Grill we ever did. It's just one of my favorite episodes, the way it came out, you know. The one at Artist Point with Sarah McGovern, Luca, was actually, it's just so relaxed, and we just got into the food and described the experience and stuff. And it was just, it was really what we do when we go to Disney, but we'd never done Travel with Rick that way. And so for us to be able to be ourselves, not that, you know, the ride videos are, you know, and so for us to sit down and have a meal and invite you guys to come along with us was really a cool thing, you know. So yeah, so Sarah McGovern for sure, you know.
That's awesome.
And your lovely wife Sid, we started talking about when you brought up Sarah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, your lovely wife Sarah as well.
Sid
being on there.
is great. She's a great utility person because, as everybody who's not really a big beer fan,
Right.
and so she does like beer, so she's able to come in and speak to the beer thing.
Sure.
And I think, wasn't she one of the first people when they added the dirt booth? I mean the Terra booth.
Yeah.
Wasn't she like the first
The
victim? I mean the
yeah.
first person that we had.
It truly was.
Yeah.
She and I opened Food and Wine Festival year before last, I
Yeah.
think, because that was the first booth, and that was the year we decided we were going to go around in clockwise order.
Yeah.
And so we started with that #1 Terra booth.
Yeah.
And we rocked it out.
Yeah, and I seem to remember that there actually was a beer at the Terra booth.
And
You
2
s-
wines.
And 2 wines that you actually liked.
Yeah, yeah, and there have been a few over the course of time, and I understand there's an episode coming up where you're going to see me drink some more beer in a fictitious little cartoon town.
Yep.
Near a resort, in a resort near us.
In a resort near us, exactly. So where do you see Travel with Rick going in the future? I mean, we've got road trips, we've got cruises that we've been on, we've got Amazing Adventures by Disney. We've done a lot of really cool travel things. Where do you see us going in the next?
South.
South.
South. You know, we haven't. I'm totally serious with that. You know, we really haven't carried you guys to some cool islands, and that's one of my favorite things to do. You talk about road trips, bro. I'd like to do some boat trips.
Yeah.
One of my passions is sailing. You know, just little Hobie cats and stuff. I just love to get out in like a little day sailboat, right? So imagine just kind of taking that, you know, a step further. We have some friends that run a catamaran out of Saint somewhere down near Eleuthera, and maybe it is Eleuthera that they run their catamaran out of. And I thought about chartering that and taking Travel with Rick on that. Or, you know, our good friend Mike Marshev, I had lunch with him a couple of weeks ago, and him and some friends of his, they charter a boat and go themselves.
Wow.
And so it's fairly easy enough to do, and would love to do something like that. But even just going to some islands, Big B and I are talking about taking some dive trips, some scuba dive trips down to Belize. I've never been to Belize. It's one of my bucket list places, which we'll be talking to you more about this year. Is we're actually going to start talking about bucket list trips, the places you got to go before you die. Not that, you know. Not we want to get morbid about it.
Nothing wrong with Rick. He's not going anywhere.
Well,
Just
we don't want to
saying.
get morbid or anything, but you know, some people start thinking about that. You know, there are some places. You know, you've got you know, a finite amount of vacation days, or you know, a finite amount of years, and you know, you just got to get those places in while they're still fun to go to. And, and for me, Belize is one of those places. You know, and Machu Picchu is a place that is high up on my bucket list to visit. And you know, we talked about Bonaire. You know, Bonaire, a good friend of ours is from there, and you know, it's just another place. So there's a lot of islands to visit. And we've taken you to cold places, and we've taken you to kind of somewhat exotic places, and we've taken you to European places. But I'd like to go. That's a place that I'm very comfortable. Is on a you know, on an island. You know, I love that. You know, and you know, we joke about living our life like a Jimmy Buffett song, and I don't think there's any better way to do it than that.
No.
So where do you see it? What's some of your?
Oh my gosh!
Where do you want to go?
I know that we've talked about it, and we're not ready to divulge a lot of information, but I know that we're going to some more festivals.
Oh, for sure.
Food and wine festivals.
Well, we've got so many of them just in Florida. You know,
yeah.
And then you know, just in the South. You know, Memphis in May. We talked about that. But
Talk about that. I see us also going to places out west, going and really enjoying the Western United States. Yeah. Well, you know.
We didn't talk about this. We didn't talk about episode 299. I guess you can watch it. But,
You know, going places out west. You know, way out west. You know, one of the things that we've toyed around with is an idea of maybe doing like a train tour through Napa Valley.
Right.
Going out there would be amazing. I would love to go to Seattle. I would love to go to the very first Starbucks and have a cup of Joe at Starbucks.
My daughter did that recently. Yeah, she went to Seattle. Sean and her visited that because his family's from Seattle. My daughter's friend, who does some intern work for John. So yeah, they did that.
Yeah,
Sent me pictures.
I think that would be amazing. obviously, I mean, I know that there's trips planned, there's cruises to Europe. There's more things like that. I would like to go. The one thing that we've talked about, and we have done episodes from Disneyland Paris, is other Disney theme parks. I would love to go around the world and see the other theme parks in Shanghai and Tokyo City and.
Yeah, that was a goal one time to hit them all in the same year. I don't think we'll do that.
Yeah, probably not.
That's a lot. That's a big.
That's a big journey. But doing that, seeing the Far East, seeing places, India, I would love to go crazy places like that, and being able to go on the catamaran, the sailing around the islands. I think that would be amazing. So that's kind of things that I kind of think of. Those are bucket list ideas for me.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
So, speaking of that, I've got one more question from a friend.
Okay.
And it's Jennifer from Medford, Massachusetts. And she asked a great question. What is your favorite place in the entire world to visit?
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, all of you are going to think Walt Disney World. It's really not. I mean, it is. It's an awesome place, and it's not universal. I'm happy in Brooks Lake, because that's my wife's favorite place to visit, Leslie. And we really haven't talked too much about, that's one of our guests too. Really haven't talked too much about Leslie, but Leslie's been on a bunch of shows, and she's so supportive of this show. I mean, she never really gives me a hard time about going anywhere, any place I suggest. She's very supportive of that. But one of her favorite places in the world is Brooks Lake Lodge, where we were last week on that. We weren't there last week, but it was our show last week, episode 299. That's where I broke my arm snowmobiling, and because I broke my arm snowmobiling, she and I got to spend a lot of time ice fishing together, which I wasn't able to fish, but I videoed her fishing, and I poured the coffee for everyone, and did stuff like that. I was the support crew for that. So, and we got to go snowshoeing and spend a good bit of time doing that, traipsing around the trails and foothills and areas around northern Wyoming and having a blast out there. So that's her favorite place to go. So for me, that's a favorite place of mine just because she's happy there. But favorite place in the world, I do just love the islands. And if I had, at this point in my life, if I had to pick, a favorite island, it would probably be Antigua. It's one of my favorite places in the world to visit is Antigua. I haven't been there a lot, but I really enjoy going there. Had a blast, but it was just gorgeous. Matter of fact, you can watch that. I think we had an episode on that. It's where we had the lobsters on the boat and all that stuff. So just a wonderful island. But Walt Disney World's high up there. I don't want to shatter anybody's illusions. It's definitely where we started our business and started traveling with Rick. Was right here at Walt Disney World.
Right.
And I chose it as the hotel. I'd spent 300 days, so there you go.
Well, I think it's a fair statement to, as much as we love Disney, and it's a place that's very near and dear to both of us for different reasons.
Sure.
And it's a great place, but the world is just so big.
It's a big place.
And there's some amazing things to see and do that's not just in 47 square miles.
Yeah, it's a big place.
So I think that's great. I figured there would probably be an island place somewhere surrounded by water.
I could say the south of France. One of the happiest trips we ever had was a trip where we did the whole coast of France, and I'm drawing a blank right now, but the Amalfi Coast. We just had a blast, and it's just one of the most beautiful places in the world, the Amalfi Coast, and I can easily go there and spend a month and just love life,
Well, you've got two or three great suggestions there, so hopefully you can find a place. So
awesome.
What else would you like to add to this conversation about the 300th episode?
What did we leave out? Well, we thanked Leslie. We mentioned Leslie because definitely she's been really instrumental in this. We talked about the new Open. I got a couple more favorite episodes for you. We mentioned Lou Mongello. Episode 150 actually was a great episode because we did a tour of Magic Kingdom with Lou Mongello. That was awesome. One of my other favorite episodes was episode 182. We didn't do this very often, but we actually tagged it. We came up with a catchy name for it, but we called it Smoked Meats and Frozen Treats, and we compared the turkey leg, old standard, with the all-new pork shank from New Fantasyland. We paired that and a Dole Whip versus a LaFoe's Brew. LaFoe's Brew. Yep. So it was the Dole Whip versus the Brew, and the turkey leg versus the pork shank. So that was a big episode for us. I enjoyed that one. And of course our 200th episode, because we do have so many friends. And the 200th episode that we did on April 13th, 2013 was awesome, because we had a grand villa, had all of our friends come out. I think that was at Bay Lake Tower.
That was at Bay Lake Tower.
And you guys brought an awesome cake, and everybody, you know, Ken did the wine cooler or the wine things.
Cases,
and we just had a lot of friends over, and we used those wine cases, and we did what we're doing now. For 200 episodes, we kind of look back, and I was watching part of that video earlier, and Leslie and I opened that show. It was just cool hanging out with Leslie and talking about the show, you know. I mean, you don't really think about having a show, man, you know, or having 300 episodes, but, you know, 2009, that's, wow, that's 6 years, dude. You know, that's a long time. It's a long time to be doing something like that, let alone a little internet show, you know.
Well, it's more than just a little internet show. So all along this episode, we've seen a lot of our usual suspects give shout-outs, and we'll be using those on Facebook as well, so you guys can see them here, you guys can see them on Facebook. If you've got a shout-out to Rick, congratulating him on his 300th episode, please feel free to share it. We'd love to see it. But for me, it's amazing to think that I've played a small part in 300 plus episodes, to be a part of the Travel with Rick history, and it's cool, it's humbling, it's a privilege, and I know that I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of the Travel with Rick friends. Thank you, because you brought us along. I know that you guys, if you were here, you'd be thanking Rick, because he's taken us on some amazing journeys, and it's not something that is necessarily always easy. Because you have to take camera gear, and you have to get it edited, and there's so many things that have to happen before these episodes actually make it to the internet, and he does it, and he started this a long time ago. And Rick, I just want to say, for me, thank you. On behalf of all the usual suspects, thanks, and speaking for all of our friends out there on the internet.
Well, it sounds like,
appreciate it.
Sounds like I should be thanking you, because you
No.
pretty much carry all the gear, and you pretty much do all the editing, and I got the easy job here, man.
It's not an easy
when
job.
that red dot comes on there, I just smile and talk about where we're at, you know.
Yeah, it's not an easy
that's
job.
Pretty cool. So thank you for all that you do, you know. And we briefly mentioned Andrew Harris. You know, he brought us through a lot of our technology changes and stuff. So Andrew, big ups to you. Thanks for all that you've done to make Travel with Rick what it is. And you know, I mean, when we get right down to it, bro, I can thank you, and you can thank me, and we can thank, you know, Big B and Tony, and you know, everybody that's been on there, Sarah and your Sarah and Leslie and Amanda and Ken and all of our guests, Lou and all the people all going back. But you know, none of it would be nothing. These folks didn't come out there and watch the show.
That is true.
So it's you guys that really, you know, you're why we do this, you know. I mean, you know, we've joked about it before. I'd probably travel anyway, but I just wouldn't turn a camera on, you know. It's one thing to turn a camera on and, you know, point it that way, but, you know, to point it this way, you know, and have you guys listen to us, I mean, the fact that you want to hear where we go is a pretty humbling thing, you know, and that you come back week after week, and when we meet you in the parks, which is so awesome to do, that you come up and say, you know, thanks, you enjoy the show, and whatnot, you know, want to meet us and stuff, and we love meeting you guys, and you know, so it's really humbling for me that you know, so many people take trips, and you know, nobody follows along. You know, I mean, they're you know, maybe their friends do on Facebook or stuff, but you know, you guys make this show what it is. You know, showing up and watching. You know, and we do it. You know, like our friend Gary Vaynerchuk says, we do it if one of you watch. So you know, it's really true. So. Again, big thanks to everybody for watching. John, thanks for all that you do, for toting the bags and editing the videos and making everything happen. And you know, Leslie, of course, and you know, everybody here. You know, it's an awesome privilege. It's a lot of fun to get to do this. You know, I mean, some of the things that we have we've experienced, you know, that we probably wouldn't have gotten to experience because of the show. Have just been awesome to do. So it's been a blast. So guys, thanks a lot. You know, we always say your comments are like oxygen. Thanks for bringing in your questions. If we didn't read your question on the air, it was just a time thing. So, you know, it wasn't that your question wasn't, you know, didn't make the cut or whatever. So, and if you didn't get your question on, hey, drop in the comments. We'd still love to hear from you, and we'll still answer your questions there. You know, I mean, we'll do it, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, for 300 episodes, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope to see you right back here for another episode of Travel with Rick real soon. See you next week, everybody.
When it's time to plan your next vacation, you need the experience of someone who can help you make the best decision for your vacation dollars. With over 18 years of experience, Kingdom Magic Vacations can help you plan your next trip to incredible destinations like Disney, Universal, cruises, and all-inclusive destinations. Our team of travel planners are with you every step of the way. All you have to do is relax and enjoy your vacation. We do all the work. Call 866-972-6244 or visit kingdommagic.com to start planning your vacation today.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching our show this week. We're here at Universal Orlando's City Walk. That's Jimmy Muffet's restaurant right there, Margaritaville, and that's his plane, the Hemisphere Dancer. One of my favorite places every time that we come to Universal Orlando is to come down to Margaritaville, check out what's going on here. Listen, we wanted to remind you, drop your email address up there in our box. That way you'll be included on our stream. Every time we post something new on the blog, you'll be the first to know about it, and you won't miss a thing here on Travel with Rick. If you really want to know what's going on with us, check us out over on Facebook, facebook.com/Travel with Rick. There we post our question of the week, we tell you where we're going, talk about where we've been, and you can connect with more Travel with Rick friends over there as well. And if you're on YouTube or iTunes, yeah, we have a channel for you over there as well, so check that out. And you never know where we're going to be next week. So we could be right here in Universal Orlando, or we could be around the world. So you'll want to check back right here next week, find out where we're going to be. So long, everybody.